A cordial greeting. Today is Monday, September 29, 2025. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In today's video I will provide an update on Tropical Storm Imelda, which continues strengthening just north of the Bahamas. I will also talk about Hurricane Humberto, which, although it has weakened slightly, continues to be a major hurricane, and both cyclones pose a risk to Bermuda. The close passage of Hurricane Humberto's circulation will bring tropical storm force winds from Tuesday night through Thursday, and then Tropical Storm Imelda is expected to strengthen into a hurricane and pass very near or over the island during the afternoon or evening hours on Wednesday. But before continuing with the forecast of both cyclones, I wanted to mention that by the end of this week we will be watching several tropical waves coming off Africa, since most global models develop one of them into a tropical depression in about 7 to 9 days. However, this is a long-range forecast and there are still many days left to watch calmly. So now let's zoom into the southwestern Atlantic, where today we have a very impressive animation, as we are seeing two tropical cyclones very close to one another, which are beginning to interact. In fact, it has been years since we've had two tropical cyclones so close together in the Atlantic basin. This is definitely a rather unusual event, and it clearly shows how favorable the southwestern Atlantic is this year for the formation and strengthening of cyclones. As Tropical Storm Imelda continues moving away from the Bahamas, it is evident to see the outflow toward the north and northeast of its circulation, while in the case of Hurricane Humberto, the circulation extends well to the south and southeast of the center. So in theory we can say that the circulations of both cyclones are indeed related, each providing outflow in different quadrants, and this helps both systems maintain a healthy structure. And it is precisely in this area where most of the cyclonic activity has been focused this year, and where all of this year's hurricanes have formed, with each one having managed to become a major hurricane. Meanwhile, so far in the Caribbean we have not seen the passage of a tropical cyclone, and in the Gulf of Mexico we only had a weak tropical storm that affected Tamaulipas. So for the moment, we continue with a season that has been quite favorable in the sense that no hurricane has made landfall. However, with the accumulated cyclone energy, ACE, contributed by Tropical Storm Imelda and powerful Hurricane Humberto, the ACE index has continued to rise in recent days, and it now stands at 80 units, which is normal for this date. In the coming days, the accumulation of ACEs will continue to climb to levels that will make this hurricane season be considered more active than normal. This is despite the fact that so far there have been 9 tropical storms, 3 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes, while the normal for this date is 10 storms, 5 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. So in terms of tropical storms, there has been 1 fewer than normal, and in terms of hurricanes, 2 fewer than normal. But in terms of major hurricanes we are above average. This means that indeed we are seeing the peak of cyclonic activity this year shift again toward late September and early October, just as we projected a few weeks ago, very similar to what we saw in 2022 and 2024. In fact, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it is possible that we will see the development of another additional tropical cyclone in the tropical Atlantic, which would be unusual for October. Now let's talk about the track forecast for Tropical Storm Imelda and Hurricane Humberto. First, you can see that Hurricane Humberto's track continues to take it west of Bermuda. However, its circulation is so broad that some tropical storm force effects will impact the island over the next 72 hours. Meanwhile, there have been very few changes in the forecast track of Tropical Storm Imelda. It is still forecast to pass near or over Bermuda during Wednesday night as a Category 2 hurricane. And in fact we cannot rule out strengthening into a Category 3 hurricane. This is why a hurricane watch has been issued for the area, and residents should begin preparing for tropical storm conditions from tomorrow through Friday, and hurricane conditions between Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of intensity, Hurricane Humberto is expected to continue gradually weakening over the next few days, and possibly in about 3 days it will be downgraded to a tropical storm, then dissipate in about 5 days in the North Atlantic. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Imelda is expected over the next 48 to 72 hours to gradually strengthen into a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane as it passes near or over Bermuda, and eventually begin weakening in about 3 to 5 days until dissipating in the North Atlantic. Let's look at the latest global model projections. Here is the American model, which shows Hurricane Humberto making its closest approach during the afternoon and evening hours of Tuesday to the west of Bermuda, while Tropical Storm Imelda strengthens into a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane as it nears the island and impacts it Wednesday night, with its circulation center passing very near or over the island. The European model agrees with this projection, Hurricane Humberto passing west of Bermuda Tuesday morning or afternoon, then future Hurricane Imelda's circulation passing just south of the island as a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane Wednesday night into early Thursday. And the German model also shows an almost identical projection, Humberto passing west of Bermuda and future Hurricane Imelda impacting Bermuda as a Category 2 or Category 3 hurricane. In terms of effects, let's look at the wind gust animation. According to the American model, in orange you can see the tropical storm force winds that will impact Bermuda between Tuesday and Wednesday, associated with Hurricane Humberto's circulation, and eventually between Wednesday and Thursday, the tropical storm and hurricane winds associated with Tropical Storm Imelda will affect the island from Wednesday through Friday. For the eastern United States, tropical storm force winds will remain offshore over the Atlantic, and for the northern Bahamas, tropical storm force winds will move away from the region tonight. As for rainfall totals, Bermuda can expect 8 to 10 inches, over 175 millimeters, of rain between Tuesday and Friday, which could cause some flash flooding. And although the circulation of both cyclones will remain away from the United States and the Caribbean, some indirect effects are anticipated, mainly related to large swells that will impact the entire U.S. East Coast. Waves over 15 feet high may affect the coast, and for Bermuda, maximum waves associated with future Hurricane Imelda could exceed 40 feet. So great caution is advised for swimmers along the U.S. East Coast, and also for areas of the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the northern Lesser Antilles, where Atlantic swells over 10 feet high may affect the coasts by next weekend. Well, that is all for this update on Tropical Storm Imelda and Hurricane Humberto. I will continue monitoring their evolution to keep you informed, and I will begin watching the eastern Atlantic for the possibility of another tropical wave to monitor. For the moment, no tropical cyclone formation is anticipated in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico during the next 7 days. But before I go, I wanted to invite you to give this video a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you receive notifications when I upload new videos. I hope you all have an excellent evening. Until tomorrow.